Mr. Loudermilk.
Here.
Ms. Alsop.
Here.
Ms. Wager.
Here.
Mr. Thacker.
Here.
Ms. Thies.
Here.
Mr. Norris.
Here.
Mr. Thompson.
Okay. Okay. First thing we have is to see if there's any corrections of the journal to the preceding minutes if needed. For February 8th, we have the Sunshine meeting. How about now? Maybe I just went close enough. Is that it? Okay. Sorry about that. So corrections to the journal of the preceding meetings if needed, February the 8th, 2024 meeting, and those are on page 15? 15? Thank you. Okay. So if you had to take a moment to look at those, and once you're ready, give a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the Sunshine meeting minutes from Thursday, February 8th, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Councilperson Thies, second by Councilperson Wager. Is there any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. The next one is February 13th meeting, 2024. It's on page 24. Please review, tell them if there's any corrections need made. If not, I'll accept the motion.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve meeting minutes Tuesday, February 13th,
Okay.
2024.
Is there a second? Okay, motion by Councilperson Wager, second by Councilperson Alsop. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Communication, elected officials, other officials, or agencies of the county. So if we don't have anybody else, the attorney has a one that he wants to address, a concern. So, Mr. Wright?
Thank you, Mr. President. You should have before you thanks. You should have before you two stapled packages of documents. One of those is the rules of the County Council for 2024. The other is a portion of the rules showing some stricken language in Rule 12, the meeting section under subsection 4. The first reading by summary reference of proposed ordinances and resolutions. This is a byproduct of a point in time at which the council was assigning every request that came before it to a committee for a recommendation. And really does not have a place in the current method of sunshine meetings followed by action meetings the following week. And you'll see behind that proposed modification what the old agendas would look like compared to the new. And I think looking at it, it does away with some redundancy in the agenda. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but in talking with the president, question was asked, and in terms of it being necessary for the operation of the council, it is not, so.
And I believe under Rule 14, it says within 60 days of first adoption of these rules, they may be amended upon the adoption of the majority of the council. Such motion is ordered at any time. Therefore, any rules amended upon a motion amended by adopting 2/3 of the council, the operation of these rules may be requested by the presiding officer, may be suspended with respect to the matter pending before the council, consent of all members present. So I believe that we would need 2/3 votes in order to change this amendment. If you choose you want to do that tonight, that's fine, or if you want to wait and have time to think about it, look it over. This is merely just to try to speed up the meeting a little bit on the sunshine meetings of the first reading.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to ask Mr. Wright, is there any reason at all to keep this in the rules?
No, not in my mind, Ms. Wager. It is what the reasoning behind it initially was. You were going to have a summary reference at your initial meeting, and you were going to learn which committee you were going to be assigned to. That committee would meet in the remaining portion of the month, and then come back the next month for action from the council. There was only one meeting a month of the council at that time. And the other time was spent more in committee meetings. That has morphed into the entire council wanting to be available when issues are being discussed. So the sunshine meeting was developed to allow everybody to hear the information, ask questions at one time, and then give them time to consider in the remaining portion of the week and make a decision at the next meeting. So the summary reference to the proposed ordinances and resolutions, their first reading is when they come to you for the sunshine meeting, not a reference to their proposal. They've been proposed.
So what it would be the council's pleasure? We can wait another till next month, or we can take action in
Mr. President,
yes.
I would make a motion that we eliminate Section 4 of Part A of Rule 12, Rules of the County Council, Vigo County 2024.
Okay. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Okay. Motion been made by Councilperson Wager, second by Councilperson Thies, to amend the Rule 12 as presented, highlighted, striking number 4. First reading of summary reference proposed by ordinance and resolutions, and also on number 6 and number 7 where it states first readings. Although everyone having a copy of those. Any discussion?
I would just like to add, I think, the Sunshine Committee started really that first year I served, and I had watched a lot of meetings and so on. I think it's really added to the depth of how we look at stuff, and especially in an open forum. So to update this and bring it to that, I think is a good
Yeah.
thing. But I think Sunshine Committee edition has been a good addition.
all.
I would agree with that.
Any other discussion? You know, in attending the city council meetings, they have a little different twist on theirs. And if an item is brought up and 100% agrees to it, might be something we'll look at later, but that's not what we're addressing at this time. So if there's no further questions, motion been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carry, and the rules will go in effect at the next meeting. Okay. Under the same heading, communication, the auditor's office, would you like to, Cheryl, would you like to expand on the handout that you gave, just for information?
Yeah, it was just presented to you the cash fund statement for 2023. That's the ending cash balances as of December 31st, 2023, basically for all your operating funds. This was produced then after our final annual report was uploaded to Gateway to start the State Board of Accounts review. So that's for your information. If you look at it and you have any questions, feel free to email me, call me.
This reflects the extra money that we receive for interest money that was also reflected in the general fund.
Anything that was completely receipted in, so the interest would have been, so that's your ending cash balances to those funds as of December 31st.
Okay. Any questions for Cheryl before we move on? Reports for committee, we have none. Resolution and ordinance other than appropriations. And then we have ordinance relating to appropriations. Is the first one we have is the salary ordinance 2024-1A, and this is courts, and it's on page 4. We heard this one proposed. We had a recommendation from the budget committee to allow this to a favorable recommendation. So we can either, if you have any questions, I'm sure they will be able to answer them here, or we can entertain a motion.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I make a motion to accept the amended salary ordinance 2024-21A.
Okay. Is there a second?
I will second.
Motion made by Councilperson Norris, second by Councilperson Thies to accept the request and recommendation of the Budget Committee for 2024-21A, and it's to amend the system administrator. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next one is additional appropriation 2024-25, Veterans Assistance. This is a copy machine rental. Vicki addressed this need because they have an aging copy machine. This is a request on page 5, and it is for $750. Is there any questions? If not, take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve additional appropriation ordinance 2024-25.
Second.
Motion made by Councilperson Thies, second by Councilperson Wager. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Additional appropriation 2024-26, lit special purpose. This is for contract services. This would be on our page, starting on page 6, when it talks about the dollar amount of it. And this would be what the commissioners proposed of the demolition of the jail. Well, I'm sure they're here and would be willing to answer questions. It's a request of $4.5 million. I'm sorry, not 450.
Long way.
Any questions for the council, for the commissioners? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's not so much a question, but I just wanted to thank the commissioners and Garmong for meeting with a lot of us who had questions, giving us information. I know this is something we have gone over quite a bit in the last, week and even days before that. So I appreciate you taking your time to do that. It's an important decision.
Mr. President, I would like to say that I think that the council has done substantial investigation into what would be the wise choice on spending this amount of money. That's it's a behemoth of a building over there, and if there was any way to renovate it, I think we've looked at all the possibilities, and I hope we've made the right choice, but I think we've all come to a conclusion that each of us can live with, whatever that may be.
If you don't have any questions or any other comments, then accept the motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we appropriate the request for 2024-06,
26.
26.
26.
Okay. Motion made by Councilperson Wager, second by Councilperson Laudermilk. Is there any other questions? Okay, I'd like to see a roll call vote.
Mr. Loudermilk. Yes. Ms. Alsop.
Yes.
Ms. Swager.
Yes.
Ms. Thies.
Yes.
Mr. Norris.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thacker.
Nay. Okay, next one is additional appropriation 2024-27. This one has to do with the parks, and it has new equipment. It is on our page 7. There was discussion. I see Adam's here if anybody has additional questions for him. Is there any questions?
I do have one question for Adam. We spoke before the meeting, and you said the amount for the mower was going to be $49,000 and some change, but the paperwork is $40,280. Okay, so the $40,280 is correct. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions? No other questions, and I accept motion.
I'll make the motion that ordinance 2024-27 be passed.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Councilperson Alsop, second by Councilperson Wager for the motion to approve new equipment 2024-27. Any questions on the motion? No question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. The next one is amended salary ordinance 2024-28. This has got to do with parks. This is on the next page, on page 8. It would be adding a full-time maintenance park ranger, grade 8 pay. Last week, we were giving a sheet, which is would be what the total cost would be on that as well. And there again, the park superintendent's here if you have any questions. Not, accept the motion.
I make a motion to accept the amended salary ordinance 2024-28A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made by Councilperson Thies, second by Councilperson Wager to accept the request of full-time park ranger for 2024-28A in parks. All those in favor signify saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So the next one is amended salary ordinance 2024-29A adult probation. This is amending the receptionist. It's on our page 9. And we have, she's a lady's here to answer any questions if you have any. If not, accept the motion. This one was to change the position title from a receptionist to a secretary, from a grade 3 to a grade 6. Now, the only thing I did think there was an effective date. No, that's on the second one, okay. So that would be the request that they're asking on page 9, to go from the receptionist, changing the title to a secretary. Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilperson Laudermilk, second by Councilperson Weger to approve a motion to amend the salary ordinance. This one is, get the right one here, 2024-29A. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now this one is this is the adult probation again, but it's 2024-29A on, I believe, page 10. And this one would be,
33A.
did I say that wrong? I'm sorry. 2024-33A, this is the deleting of the Secretary 2 position. Now, I do think since it was proposed, they would like to change the effective date. Is that correct?
Yeah, Leanne is, she would like to be able to use, there's 2 positions, and both of them are retiring out, and she is putting one in. However, if she could use that position till, and make it effective April 19th, that would give her time for the other person to train with the person that's retiring. So because it was already presented to you into the first reading with the March 13th date, it just needs an amendment to say effective April 19th, if that would be your pleasure for her.
So,
What's the date again?
April.
19th.
so if you're for this, you would want to make the motion to be effective date April 19th, making the motion. Anybody would like to accept the motion?
Yeah, do we need to do an amendment first?
Yes. I would do a motion to amend the
Yeah.
effective date to April 19th, and then a motion to approve it with the amendment.
Yep, that's correct.
I will make a motion to amend salary ordinance 2024-33A to have effective date of April 19th, 2024.
Second.
Motion been made to amend 2024-33A to the effective day of April 19th. Motion been made and seconded. Is there any question? Made by Councilperson Weger, or Councilperson Thies, second by Councilperson Weger. Any questions on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, now would entertain a motion as amended for 2024-33A to delete secretary position effective 4/17/24.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilperson Thies, second by Councilperson Weger. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, the next one is amend salary ordinance 2024-30A CASA, amend salary ordinance and correct job description. This one should be on our page 11. And Glenn is here, of course, if anybody has any questions. But I think they explained to us what that was. That would be at no cost to the council at this time. So is there a motion, or if anyone has any questions?
I just have a quick question. I guess just a point of clarification. I was looking at some information we had last week provided to us on the volunteer coordinator and monitor position. So if I'm understanding this correctly, the proposal is to reduce that rate. Is that somebody currently hold that title right
Okay.
now?
So in discussions, there were 3 positions. One is way below where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to
Right.
be at an 8, and then one got put higher. There has been discussion, we can leave that person in the higher pay. We can just add to the job descriptions. We've already spoken to that staff member so that there's no change that needs to happen to the one that's scored at 10. That can stay right where it's at, and we don't have to do anything. We just have to adjust her job duties so that she falls within the requirements of that job. So the only one that really needs to be fixed is the one that's setting at that low 4 needs to be adjusted to an 8, and the job title needs to be corrected.
So the one that's at 10, is that what you said?
The one that's at a 10 needs to be a staff advocate supervisor.
Okay, so.
The one that is at an 8 just needs to be staff advocate.
Okay,
The one that is at a 4 that says data administrator needs to be made a staff advocate at the pay grade of 8.
but there are responsibilities and assignments you could provide to meet the 10 criteria, is
Yes,
that correct?
we already have that, we've already got that figured out, and it's a contingency plan coming into this, because we didn't want to take the money away either, but we just wanted to make sure that they were compensated correctly across the board going forward.
Sure. So is this individual, how long had they been receiving this rate of pay?
It started when they adjusted in October of last year.
I guess I struggle with this one, for me personally. I mean, if we have the opportunity to give them additional responsibilities and keep their pay the same, because I'm looking at this, it's about a 12% reduction in pay
It's
immediately.
$270 a pay.
That's a big drop, especially when you're used to living a certain way, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's the only part that I struggle with on this piece of your request.
We have spoken with her, and she is very happily willing to accept the additional responsibilities to the program. She really is.
Sure. I would as well.
And then I may have misquoted, I was going off memory, but as I just corrected is, you do have one going from a grade 4 to, at 1825 to a 2348. So there is additional cost.
Yes, there isn't, that, when you said that, I was like, no, there's an additional
Okay.
cost. There is,
All right.
there is one, yes.
Thanks for correcting me that you
I
didn't.
think that's the
but,
next
you
one.
should have.
I think that's the
Yeah.
next one, Council President. And Councilman Loudermilk, this is how it was presented to us. I
Yes.
brought that up to Glendon last week, that you
Yeah, that was
understand you're
discussed.
asking for a reduction.
Right, right.
And
I just
I'm
want to
not
make
sure
sure
they
that was
would want to
clear.
do, yeah.
Correct. I just want to make
So
sure we're all
that's-
clear that
And-
the proposal was to take away from somebody that's actually earning that rate of pay now.
And that's the reason why we reached out, trying to explain that to everyone, that there was a contingency plan. We just didn't get a chance to explain that.
Sure, okay.
Can I ask one question?
Sure, absolutely. Then. Open for questions.
Considering, and I know it's the next part of what you're asking, but considering what we're looking at with other duties and kind of bumping potential staff up to full-time, if we were to keep the one at a grade 10, would that spread some of the duties, maybe if just staffing and helping you a little bit?
It will.
Okay.
Keeping that one at grade 10, she's already got a full caseload, so mind just to be aware of that. She already has a full caseload. So the caseload aspect is not going to change.
Change, right.
But the duties of helping alleviate some of the stress that's on other staff members that are doing multiple activities right now because we are short, will change. It will help. It'll always help.
Okay, and moving forward, because when we look at salaries and things like that, we're not supposed to, I know it's hard not to look at the people in them, but would that be a position you think that would still be comfortable with those extra duties if you did
Absolutely.
eventually
The
have
person's
to
in this
hire?
position does it because she loves the work, not necessarily because of the pay, and she's rightfully earned it. She's been with us for quite a while. She previously was a VOCA paid full-time staff member that we lost. She moved over into the county into this position. So she's been with us total, part-time, full-time under VOCA, full-time under county, almost 7 years.
Council President, can I clarify something? So you would want that position to be just like the other ones, the volunteer coordinator, staff advocate, supervisor?
They would just be a staff advocate supervisor.
Same as you're switching the
Yep.
other ones?
Yep.
Okay.
We would have the differentiation of a staff advocate supervisor, a staff advocate grant, and then the two parties that do not carry a position, to carry a caseload.
I would like to suggest that you are going to amend this ordinance as it states that you might as well, where it says position title, if you're going to leave that one at the grade 10, that you amend it to stay grade 10, and that you go ahead and change that one's title, if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah, it's
So it's all in one, and then back here, we'll do the other 3, which will give her, or other 4, which would give her 5.
I am kind of, as far as what Councilman Loudermilk had brought up, I think back to when we were doing Baker Tilly, which was, obviously a big endeavor, but one of the things we said was not taking people down. And it's something that has weighed on me too, and if we can use that position to offset some duties, you know, we're talking a half a year that that person has been at that grade. So I don't know if Councilperson Loudermilk's interested in making a motion on this. No, because you know I don't like to make messy motions. You've got the experience on me on this
If we
one.
do, we need to do, as Auditor, Chief Deputy suggested it, we would have to amend the request because the request does not have that on it, even though she talked about it. So the motion would have to be amended, then we'd have to vote on the motion as amended, if that's what we choose.
So we could amend just to essentially remove section B, correct?
You could, but you need to change that title.
She went, that title
Because
needs to be
it's
It needs to be
supervisor.
staff advocate supervisor. Because
Yeah,
Councilman,
well,
that's adding one more to what you've already got back here that you're getting ready to change the titles to.
So the first amendment would just be simply to change that title? Is that what you're telling us?
I would change the title and basically say, leave it at the current grade 10.
Yeah, you have to change it.
That way it's all-
in there.
Just with one, could you do it in one motion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change the title and leave it at current grade 10.
Yes.
I'd like to make an amendment. I'd like to make an amendment to Salary Ordinance 2024-30A. Amendment is in section B. I'd like to amend the title from volunteer coordinator monitor to staff advocate supervisor, and the position to remain at a grade 10 at $26.63.
Okay, is there a second?
I will second.
Motion to amend by Councilperson Loudermilk, second by Councilperson Thies to amend Salary Ordinance 2024-30A. Item B, change position title from volunteer coordinator monitor to staff advocate supervisor and retain at pay grade 10, striking grade 8 at 2028 and leaving grade 10 at 2663. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Now, it would be in order if somebody would like to make a motion as amended.
I'll make an motion to accept amended salary ordinance 2024-30A as amended.
Second.
Motion made by Councilperson Thies, second by Councilperson Loudermilk to accept the amended ordinance, salary ordinance 2024-30A as amended. Motion been made and seconded. Is there any questions?
Can I
Here.
ask a question? Is this correcting the two positions, or is this just the first one?
This is the motion as you presented it with the amendment of changing the supervisor B. So A and C remains the same as you requested as 2024-30A. That
So
make
that-
sense?
2033-48.
2024-30A was originally requested with A, B, and C. We amended B, so now we're asking to, there's been a motion to accept it as amended, leaving A and C the same,
Okay, thank you.
only changing B. Everybody on page with that? On page 11? Okay. So motion's been made, seconded. If there's not any other questions, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. So that was 2024-30A. Now we look at 2024-31A, and it is on page 13. And it is adding full-time staff advocate position, 3 of them at grade 8 at $23.48 an hour. And one of the things that was brought to light is that they would go, not starting out at 1 week or 2 weeks, but they would start out at 4 weeks vacation. That was brought up, and just make sure everybody is aware of that. And we did talk about that you have funding currently to last you through October, but this is a request, and and this one did not have an effective date on it. So when whoever makes a motion, they would need to make, if they make a motion for this, they need to have an effective date. Am I right, in auditor's department?
If she was going to change the effective date to when her
It
grant.
is the 13th on it, so. yeah.
Yes, but I mean, you know,
So-
she brought it to light last week that she would do it at the end of her grant, which ends September 30th.
The last day of September.
Yeah.
These positions would take effective October 1st.
So if it's your wish to take on 3 full-time positions to the general fund, that would become effective that time and then carry through next year's budget.
Through 2025.
I mean, you would, yes, 2020, yeah, we are in 2020.
Yeah.
It's a 2025.
So at this time, if there's any questions for Glenna about the request of 2024-31A?
One of the things, and I guess this is just for discussion in a public forum of it, is serving on the budget committee with it as well. You know, typically we kind of, when we're adding positions like this, we usually do that. At the same time, I want to ensure that we get some support and help for this. And I think even if we consider, and I guess this is for discussion here, if we look at considering 1, 2, or 3, I just want to ensure that we do something. Being the highest with CHIN's cases in the state, the needs of our families and children, I'm seeing it spill over into our communities, and we just have to be proactive. And so I'm concerned that if we leave it as is, we won't get the support. So I'd like to have some discussion on if there's appetite for 1 or 2 positions at that.
Mr. President.
Councilperson Whitaker.
Glenn, I'd like to ask you, you know, this is a heavy hit for us. You know, we just been, I hate to even say the name Baker Tilly, we've been through the Baker Tilly war. Can you do with 2? I mean, I know you make sacrifices constantly, and I just hate to ask, you know, when it takes away from services for little kids, that kills me dead.
Absolutely.
But if you can tighten your belt, if you even have a belt left.
It's hanging in there.
You know, I mean, could you sleep tonight if we would do that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, are you thinking
Ask-
1
cut it-
position?
Cut it, well, no, cut it to 2.
Cut it to 2?
I don't want to, but
I do have a quick question. Glenna, do you know when you might know when this grant will come? I mean, what you'll be awarded, when will you know?
No, I do not. I am in the process of finishing the VOCA grant right now. They have to be submitted by Thursday at 11 p.m., and then we will not know anything for the grant until probably June or July, as to where we'll even get the grant. The grants are very competitive right now, and we do not know what will happen. And that is part of the problem, is I was asked that question several times, is why was this not brought before the Budget Committee last year? These grants are for every 2 years, but we do not know cuts or anything or a type of what we're going to get for the budget until they open the budget, the grant cycle up. So which is usually about February, March is when they announce that the grants are going to be, that you can start applying for them, and they don't normally tell you if there's going to be any discrepancies, cuts, shortages, or anything until a couple weeks prior to that even opening. So that's why coming to the budget, I'm not going to know really what we're going to have or what we're facing until the actual year that the grant cycle ends. And I know that was a question.
And the grant cycle ends in, you're saying in June?
This grant cycle ends in September. So the new grant cycle will start October 1st of 2024 and will go till September of 2026.
And you won't have any idea
We won't know if we even get it till late June, July, depending on when they decide to announce the grants. And we're only able to ask for one position.
So you're asking for one position in a grant, but you're asking for 3 positions with us? I know, we're not playing this makes a deal, we're just trying to be as frugal as we can.
Absolutely.
So would you be supportive if the council gave you 1?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see you have some help. I mean, I'm just trying to get it to where we can get it to where it's passed, so.
The 3 positions is worst-case scenario, because we know ultimately come at this end of the cycle, we're going to lose a minimal of 1 position.
Yeah.
We know that's going to happen.
Thank you.
So we're applying to this grant. We do not know that we're going to get it. There is no guarantee whatsoever because they are competitive. I can tell you Vigo County CASA program has met within the requirements that we've done. We are one of the top programs in the state, actually top 2 of we're top 10, and then we are top 5 of cases served, but we are one of only 2 programs in the top 10 of top 5 of the state that have 100% coverage. So we are remarkable in that fact that we can provide our matrix to you. Worst case scenario is we get nothing here, we get nothing there, and we lose all 3 positions.
Yeah, I don't want to see that either. Okay. So we can have, at this time, you guys can make a motion, you can make a motion to amend, or whatever is the council.
I have a logistical question, just because I always get nervous on things like this. If we make a motion for 2 positions and it fails, can we then make a motion for 1?
Yes.
I have a
Yes. Question?
Are you finished, Corey?
Okay.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
I just had a quick question, just for clarification. So if I understood you correctly, you're losing 1. If we grant you 1, you're just breaking even, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And if we don't get the VOCA grant, we're at 1. That's it. And the question was asked last week is that if you're already operating at 0 now, and why would we want to give you more? Well, we're already at maximum capacity right now. So those caseloads that we lose from those staff members that we already know we're going to lose 1 has to be divided amongst the staff that is already taxed. We have people who are part-time that are working basically full-time hours because they have to because of the caseloads, because they give of their time plus they work. So those caseloads have to go somewhere, and for us to maintain that 0 wait list, which the children are our priority, those caseloads have to go somewhere, which means it's going to be on the caseloads. I myself am covering cases and seeing children. So it just goes across the board.
So 1's just going to help you continue to maintain and tread water.
Tread water is exactly the best way to describe it.
Thank you.
Mr. President? Mr. President?
Yes.
Glenn, are you asking for part-time or full-time in the vote? Because the ones you have now are part-time, right?
Yes,
So
they're
the
all
one
part-time.
you'd be losing is a 1 part-time, but we would possibly replace it with 1 full-time with the healthcare, and then we had that number last week, which is a cost of healthcare, vacation, as a full-time
But
employee.
in the grant, you're asking for a
We're
full-time.
going to ask for a
Okay.
full-time.
But you may or may not get
May
that.
not or may not get it, yep. Because with VOCA funding, you have to show sustainability. It's not a permanent payment. So you always have to show contingency that you're going to your council and your leadership in your community to try to sustain those positions. They're not always earmarked. So that is, you have to be able to show the step down. So we are asking for 1 full-time position, and we've explained why. And that is why we're before you as well, to show that we can show that sustainability.
And someone told me this today, is it's typical in grant writing, you ask for more than what you actually need, hoping that you get it. But I hope when you come to council, you ask
do
for
not.
what you need. And
I
then,
am-
so
I-
when we have a request for 3, and you say that you would take 2, and you'd even take 1, it is.
Because
Yes,
worst
sir.
case scenario at this, we'll lose 3.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, because we have 3 positions with VOCA right now.
Yeah, yes, with part-time, yeah.
So that's what we're asking for. I do not ever want to be those that are reaching inside the cookie jar for more than what I need. 1 cookie's 1 enough, but
Okay.
yes.
Any other questions, or entertain a motion? The nice thing about being president, I don't make the motion, so.
I know.
Now you're a coward.
I made motions all the time when I wasn't president, but as president, you're not supposed to make it. And I think you would be nice if you could rescind that comment. That was
No, I'm
unprofessional.
standing on it.
Okay. So the floor is open.
And
Vicki?
again, I want to,
Vicki, you want to make a motion here?
I want to clarify, if it goes down at no at 2, then we can still make a motion for 1.
Well, is there still a pending motion before I
No motion on the
No, no
floor,
motion
none
yet.
on the floor.
There's a motion on, there's a request on the floor. It's either whether you're granting that motion or you're not granting that motion.
But
Right?
you need to make an amendment.
There's a request.
If you're gonna change it, and then vote.
That's right.
Okay,
Need to amend the motion
to 2.
initially.
Okay. I will make I've been doing motions tonight like crazy. I will make a motion to amend salary ordinance 2024-31A from 3 full-time positions to 2 full-time positions.
Okay, a motion been made by Councilperson Thebes to amend the 2024-31 from 3 requested to 2. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilperson Loudermilk. Any discussion? And as counselor said, that if this fails, then it would be back to the original request, and it could be amended again if so needed. So, is there any other questions? Okay, let's go, let's do a roll call vote. Please.
Mr. Loudermilk.
Aye.
Ms. Alsop.
Aye.
Ms. Swager.
Aye.
Ms. Thies.
Aye.
Mr. Norris. Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thacker.
Aye. That, by my calculations, that passed at 5-2. So now the motion would need to be made under, as amended, if that's so pleased.
I will make a motion to amend salary ordinance 2024-31A as amended.
Councilperson Thies make a motion to pass, recommended to pass 2024-31A as amended, stating it's adding full-time staff of 2.
Do I need to add the October 1st on there?
If that's the date,
If that's your
Okay.
request.
state the effective.
And make that, and as amended with effective date October 1st, 2024.
Okay, so is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second by Councilperson Alsop. So now we're voting on motion as amended, 2024-31, 2 full-time staff positions at grade 8, $23.48 an hour, effective October 1st, 2024. Any questions? Let's do a roll call vote. All those, sorry,
Roll call.
yeah, I started to say all those names.
Mr. Loudermilk.
Aye.
Ms. Alsop.
Aye.
Ms. Swager.
Aye.
Ms. Thies.
Aye.
Mr. Norris. Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thacker.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries then. So, one more is, while you're up there, Glenna, is amending the salary ordinance 2024-32A. And this one has to do on our page 14, changing position titles. Maybe this is the one I had confused and at no cost, I apologize.
Yes.
And this is change position titles from volunteer coordinator to coordinator/monitor to staff applicator supervisor.
Did we already do that?
10. What's that?
Didn't we already do, okay.
No.
You just
This
did-
was
you
one
just
that
did
you
that for the
amended.
one
You
you
added
amended
a
that was included
supervisor.
to change that title. This is the 4 that she already has as volunteer coordinators. She wants to change them to staff advocate supervisors. So in total, that would make you 5 staff advocate supervisors.
So at this time, is there any questions for Glenna with CASA on 2024-32A? I would accept the motion. No questions, I accept the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilperson Thies, second by Councilperson Wager to change the positions on salary ordinance 2024-32A from volunteer coordinator / monitor to staff applicant supervisor at grade 10. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. See, get back to my original one here. So the next one is, we have honorary, I believe that's all we have for cost of it. Next, item 8, honorary resolutions. Have none. Resolution related to fiscal policy of the council. We have none. Appointments, none. Public comment, limited to items not on
1
tonight's
minute.
agenda.
It'll be quicker than that. Obviously, I appreciate you guys' support, but I just want to make a point to make sure the public knows that you guys did your due diligence, and you always do. I know because I've gotten a lot of texts, and I've gotten a lot of emails and everything, and we met. But these aren't easy decisions to make, but I do appreciate it, and we all, as elected officials, sometimes get thrown under the bus by the public, but it's not always deserved, and I do appreciate your due diligence and your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment from public comment? Okay. If not, it looks like we're going to adjourn before we start here according to our clerk. There's a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I second.
All those